All right, what is going on, everyone? And welcome back to a special video that I thought I'd make. So, over the past few days, I've been power leveling my alchemy, well, slowly, because we have a life event going on right now. So I thought I'd try to push for Guru 1. The best way to do that, obviously, is by, like, making bloods, but one thing I had to restock as well was my elixirs. So if you've ever wondered what party endgame PvP, PvE looks like, and it's a lot of potion crafting and a lot of just getting stuff together. So what I wanted to talk about was some PvE and PvP elixir rotations. Now, for the most part, I would say, honestly, I just use a frenzy draft and some other stuff on the way because it's really just easier. And like the spots I grind aren't as competitive. But if you are thinking of doing end game content with your friends or just anything in general, wars and stuff, I wanted to talk about some elixirs that I would recommend. And let's start off with PvE. So if you have a fairy nowadays, then obviously it'll help you because you can set up as many, up to like 20 items, I guess, into your auto pot and then have it going. So one thing let's start off with is how to go about doing it. So first of all, if you are trying to make a party elixir, you buy this thing, the All's tier. So you buy it from a material vendor in town, and they just sell like the blue reagents and the All's tier, right? So it tells you how to do it. Simple alchemy, very easy. The hardest part is getting the elixir itself. So you get these, and then if you have a green elixir, then you can trade it up for a blue elixir. So basically, if you get like, if you're self-crafting, you are probably going to get a lot of green ones. You use this blue reagent plus the green ones of ×3, and then you get a blue one. So technically it is better. It is worth your time. Just keep that in mind. And so let's get started. So for PvE, these are what I use. These are more of the defensives. This row is the offensives, and then these two rows are PvE or PvP. We'll get into that. So first of all, we have a elixir of strong shock, which is crit hit +3, and Grim Reaper's soul, and that one's +3 per hit, or 3 HP per hit, which is very good. This one, we have a elixir of remarkable will. Damage received from monsters -10%. This is very good, especially for the very high-end spots. And strong draining, which is 5 HP per critical hit. It does stack with the Grim Reaper. So you're basically, if you have a class that is like maxed out crit and everything, then you'll be, as long as you're doing damage, chances are you'll be regenning to full at all times, which is very good. And then an elixir of steel defense, which is all damage reduction +10. Always good. Now, before I go any further, I wanted to mention that if you look at a frenzy, which is basically a lot of these stats that we talked about before in the elixirs, so using a frenzy is the cheaper version, whereas using an elixir rotation is more expensive and more time consuming, but it is better to do like a full set if you can optimize it properly. Otherwise, if you have no idea where to gather and basically have the time to make the elixir rotation, just use a frenzy. Honestly, for 99% of the content, this is fine, to be honest. So for the offensive PvP or PvE, and it's kind of overlapping into the PvP section, but we'll talk about that. We use a elixir of sharp detection, 15% crit damage, big damage, always good. I use a lethal destruction, which is all special attack damage, 2%. There's another one that I would use, but I don't have any on me right now. I have to go gather some later, which is the elixir of assassination. And basically this gives you back attack 15%. A lot of classes do it. I think all of them do in some way. The bottleneck for me is the mushroom. And yeah, I'm gonna have to go grind some of those, or go gather some of those later and then make some more. But yeah, if we would have an assassin elixir, it would be there. And then we have we just talked about lethal destruction. We have a brutal carnage. This one is kind of more for PvP than PvE because some enemies you can't down attack them. So keep in mind just where you're grinding. This one is kind of optional, but it is more for the PvP side of it in any way. And then we use an Endless Frenzy, which is more AP at the cost of some DP, so basically more glass cannon. And so basically we would have like a 9-10 elixir rotation for PvE, and overall it would be better than a frenzy, but the cost of everything, see if you like calculate it, it's like 1 mil for one of these, 1.6, like it's very expensive, especially these sharp detection ones. It's overall more expensive to pop them per hour by a lot, but it's really only used if you're going for high-end grind spots or party spots, and that's where I would use them. So let's talk about PvP, and a lot of these are, you know, overlapping, but I have these third and fourth row of things that I would add on top of what I would use over here. So that makes it even more expensive, but this is why it's for PvP only. And even then, I'll be honest, most people don't full elixir rotation for PvP. Chances are you're gonna be using like one of these. You're gonna use like a perfume and maybe a giant's draft or something. So chances are if you fight someone, they are not full elixired, you'll be fine. I don't do it much either. So aside from what we talked about here, these top 9 elixirs, additional things I would add, let's start with the offensive ones. So obviously you would have these as well, plus the assassination, that's 5. I would have the extra damage on to humans, which is the perfect human hunt, plus 11. Obviously PvP reasons, players are humans. Now these two are, well, actually this Fury one is a plus 8 to all AP. It's good, just more damage. And advanced concentration, which is an extra 12 accuracy, and more accuracy, always good. So the thing about PvP is it's very expensive to do, and it's very situational. So you're popping like 8 offensive elixirs plus like another 5 plus defensive plus 5 more like other ones. So you're popping actually like almost all of these in one go. And if you die, you just lose them all. So is it worth it? Not really, but situational. So the defensive and other stuff alongside of these are, you would use the Elixir of Strong Life, which is 150 HP. Survivability is always good. Elixir of the Intrepid Swiftness, which is movement speed plus 3. Brutal Death Elixir, which is defensive, like you take less damage against crits, which is always good. Overwhelming Endurance, which is in stamina plus 150, and Clear Mentality, which is I find this to be a little bit more optional. MP plus 150. It depends on your class. And if you have infinite potions, sometimes these are a little bit more optional, because like if you don't use MP as much, obviously you don't need it. If you have already maxed out crystals, or like crystals and food buffs alongside of this, maybe your movement speed is already at 5, so you don't need that. So yeah, those are overall the elixirs that I used for both PvP and PvE. Chances are, if you're watching this and you're thinking, oh my god, this is too much to know, there's too many elixirs I have to do, it's fine, because 99% of the time you don't actually use full elixirs and you're just using like a frenzy draft or something. So the all-in-ones that are like 4 mil each, like these thingies, they're very good for most things. So once again, this is for like top of the line group spots or PvP. And I guess we'll talk about some life skills as well, because these help, but I don't really see myself using them that much. So also, one of these things that people ask me is like, how do you level up your strength XP? This is in addition to using the potion thingies that they give you. So, you know, what are these? There's random juices that they give out for events. If you're like maxed out already and you're just trying to like carry a backpack or something, that's how. So life elixirs would be elixir of time. I think that's really it. And elixir of mastery. I don't know if those stack actually. I don't use any for life skills, to be honest, because it's just more expensive than I thought it would be. Elixir of labor for gathering drop rate. I've used it before. Do you notice a difference? Not really. I mean, it's there, but do you notice it? Not really. Breath XP if you're doing underwater gathering. Strength XP for strength and everything. Yeah, that's about it. Really, you don't use anything for life and stuff, so all of these are just extras if you are grinding. Most of the time you use the all-in-one buffs and you'll be fine. But hopefully you guys enjoyed it. So I just thought I'd make this video. So hopefully it helped you. If it did, drop a quick like. Lets me know you guys enjoy these videos. And with that said, I'm out for today. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you tomorrow.